Hi, this is Velicia Waymer from Besito Space and Body Painting, and you are listening to Drawn by Success.
Hi, this is Carlos Castellanos for DrawnBySuccess.com, and I'm here with my pal, Bob Ostrom. How are you, Bob?
I'm doing great. It's been a little while since we've been together, Carlos.
It's been a while, yeah. We took a little hiatus.
Yeah, good to be back. It's great to hear your voice again. We have a special guest with us tonight, Carlos. Who do we have with us?
Today we're joined by artist Velicia Waymer. She's a very versatile and talented individual. And the reason why I invited Velicia to be with us today was because I wanted her to share her story of how her business has evolved over the last 12 months. And I thought it'd be instructive for a lot of us who are still struggling to find that point of differentiation as artists and illustrators, and at the same time trying to create more value in the kind of work that we're doing. So, Velicia, you on?
Yes, I'm here. After that build-up, now I'm completely nervous. So, we're glad to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Okay. Let's see. I'm an artist. Been an artist all of my life. Went to school for fashion illustration and graphic design. Actually went to school where Bob went to school.
Where's that?
New England School of Art and Design.
You went to the New England School of Art and Design?
Hello.
There's no way that this is possible. I've never heard of anybody who's gone there. That's fantastic. When did you graduate?
Oh God. Really? You're going to ask me that? Okay. Let's see. 82?
Really?
Uh-huh.
You and I could have crossed paths because I graduated there in 85. My first year was in 82.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably know each other. We don't even know it. That's really neat. We used to call it the New England Shack of Art and Design back in those days. But it's a good location right across from the Ritz, right? Yeah.
Right across from the Ritz and that great Italian deli.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
I can't believe that. That's so cool. World. Hey, Carlos, you're cutting in there. we're having a conversation about the New England Shack of Design. Come on.
Yeah,
man.
it's like old home week.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. I didn't know that. That's so neat.
I saw your work in April when I went up for the exhibit.
Oh, you did? That was I wasn't able to make it, but I sent up a couple of pieces. That's really cool. Wow. So now over at Suffolk, yeah.
Yes. It's nice to see everybody.
Yeah. I got to make my way back up there one of these days.
Yes, you do.
It's been a while.
What did you major in?
Who, Bob or me?
When you? No, you. There's an interview with you. I'm not interviewing Bob.
Well, let me tell you something, Carlos.
For crying out loud. Talk to Bob all the time.
I majored in fashion illustration. I took classes with Frank Rainio and graphic design. And I don't remember who my teacher was at that point, but I had a double major because I couldn't make up my mind.
Okay. So did you ever work in the fashion field, or what happened?
Actually, when I came out of school, when I graduated, there was a big push towards photography. And unless I was willing to relocate to New York, there were very few opportunities. So I was glad I had the graphics to fall back on.
Is that what you're doing now currently? Your full-time job?
My full-time job is I am a training, design, and development specialist, which is kind of like a glorified graphic designer or a junior instructional designer, instructional developer for training. I work at a credit union, and yeah, I mean, it's good work. It's good work. It's not easy work. It's fast-paced work. You'd be surprised. But it keeps my hand in terms of the graphics.
How did you make the leap from that from graphic design to the Besitos body painting? Because it's actually body painting, but you do a lot more, which our audience will soon discover.
Okay. Let's see. How did I make the leap? I think I've been wanting to be a full-time artist and not just work a day job where I'm doing graphics, but really explore more of my illustration side of my personality. The body painting, I think, came about as a result of me doing a chili cook-off that I do every year for one of my girlfriends, actually. And I ended up going to New Jersey to take, well, New York, to take a course with John Vargas. And he's a pretty famous body painter, artist, photographer. His wife is a makeup artist. They recently opened up a school for all of this. But
yeah, we know John.
Huh?
Yeah, we know him.
Yeah. I took a course with him just to make sure I was on the right track. The first year I did the chili cook-off, I painted over, I'm going to say over 150 faces by myself in the course of 6 hours. I was supposed to have help that day, and I wasn't going to do another one, you know, and go through the same thing. I couldn't walk for 2 days after I finished that. It was like a real workout. So I went to get some tips from him. He told me that I could do body painting. I could possibly even assist him if he was in the area, if he was doing a show. And so I got really excited about it, and I thought, you know, maybe this is the way in to finding my way back to being a full-time artist, rather than have a day job and then, you know, come home and work until 11, 12 o'clock at night, be tired for work the next day, feel great, but, you know, I really wanted to do something full-time.
Yeah, you know, we learned about John Vargas's work through my working with V. You know, she mentioned that he was doing that. She was going to be attending the workshop, and I went ahead and contacted him and set up an interview just so that we can learn more about his business model for body painting and how he structured all that. We also lined up the interview with Denise Warner. One of the reasons why I really kind of got
the woman, the six-figure face painter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I found her, and that's one of the reasons why I really kind of got interested in that whole area, was because I was working with V and I wanted to learn more about the whole body painting area, which she was kind of leaning towards.
Sure.
So okay, so then you went ahead and made the leap and started this business for body painting. Actually, you do a lot more. You do creative masks, and you've done as far as body painting, you've done a lot of cool things. I've seen pictures of you painting like pregnant women's bellies, and really have a lot of cool things going on. You know, I recently saw a video of you explaining how you came up with a name for your company. Can you share that with us? And also, what else,
Right.
you know, besides body painting, what is it that you're delivering in your business?
Okay. Let's see. Last August, I think it was, my husband and I went on our first cruise. We actually went during there was a hurricane at that point. So it was kind of scary. We didn't even know if we were going to go, but we ended up finally in Key West. That was one of the stops that they were able to make out of like 3 stops, because apparently places were all jacked up because of the storm. We ended up going to a butterfly sanctuary, and we went in and we sat down. There was like a butterfly chair, and I sat there, and as I was sitting there, my husband was taking pictures, but then these big blue and black butterflies, they were huge. They were like the size of my hand. They were fluttering all around. And I don't know if they were attracted to me because I had on perfume or because I was sitting still. It didn't seem like they were getting on anybody else, but they kept touching my face. They kept just kind of like lighting on my shoulders and just flying around me. And I started to get a little freaked out, because those are bugs, you know? I mean, really.
They wanted to get their faces painted.
I don't know about that. I had little teeny tiny brushes in my bag. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah, I know. You know, really need specs. So anyways, when we went back inside after this, and I will tell you that when I was sitting there, it was a real calming type of experience, and something that I hadn't really experienced before. So when we got back into the little shop that houses this little butterfly sanctuary, the lady asked us, did we like it? And we said yes, of course. And I told her that the butterflies had gotten all around me. And she said, oh, yeah. She said, that's kind of neat. They were giving you little kisses. And little kisses is besitos in Spanish. So I kind of like to think that those butterflies were kind of like giving me little kisses, and I don't know, just kind of like getting in my space of, it's nature getting in your space. Watch the video on my site. You'll get it exactly. But on the way home, we did a lot of talking about what I was doing, because I was in the midst of coaching, being coached by Carlos. And my husband's like, are you going to do this? Are you going to go all the way and do this? And I said, yeah, but I think that I just don't want to do body painting. I want to do body painting and incorporate my coaching skills, my training skills, and find a way to help people through different things. Because, that's what we're here for. We're here to help one another. So I just don't want to make art for art's sake. I want to make some art that has a purpose, that helps somebody over some kind of problem that they're having, or some kind of body perception image that they're having.
All right, so that kind of leads us into the next questions, which is it's one thing to come up with a cool concept, a cool idea for to pursue in your art, and then it's quite another to take that to the next level and actually start creating a business from it, right? Identifying a market,
right.
And okay, you know what you want to do, you know what you want to try to achieve, the kind of things that you want your work to do for others.
Right.
Who's your target audience now that you're kind of set and you understand what your purpose is through your art at the moment? Because it's a kind of a constant evolving kind of thing. But who's your target market right now?
Right now, my target market is women of any age. I don't really paint anybody younger than 20. Full body painting. Kids should do face painting, but you don't want to do any body painting for anybody under a certain age. And they're women who are looking to experience something different, experience some kind of body adornment without the permanency of a tattoo. Focusing in on maybe women who've had mastectomies, women who are overweight, women who are underweight, women who think they're horrible looking, women who think they're beautiful. It's the full range. I want to have that interaction with them so that they can walk away from the experience and feel like, wow, this was something different. I learned something about myself, or I'm too hard on myself, or geez, I look kind of good, at my age, or wow, maybe I need to work towards something. Maybe I'm wanting to be a different way, or I want to look a different way, and maybe this is the beginning of an experience, of a journey for them to go on ahead and kind of search that out for themselves.
So this is really what I find interesting, that it's just not body painting that you're selling. You're selling more of an experience of self-discovery through your body painting. Also, you've gone beyond the body painting, and you're selling portrait. Of course, you've got the
right.
body painting itself on the body, but you've also got professional portraitures that you're selling within your packages of services. Also, videography, where you bring in a videographer and you have a video also of the session. So you've kind of just you've grown just the body
right.
beyond the body painting, and really structured several packages for people
yes.
to buy into through your services.
Yeah.
So how do you find these people? So you've got the market identified. Now how do you go find them?
Initially, it was kind of hard, because I expected, and I don't know why I thought this, but I just expected people would say, oh, you do body painting? Paint me. It didn't work out that way. What's happened so far is that I post different things on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and I utilize people or talk to people who have a large network that are interested. We share some of the same interests.
Sure.
And like during this last storm, we were in no immediate danger in our area, but we couldn't go outside. We still had power, so I painted my face. I painted my own face that afternoon. It took me a couple of hours, and then we took some pictures and I posted them. I've gotten more feedback from doing, I guess, a self-portrait for myself from people who see the post and then start to ask more questions. Why do you do this? Wow, you did that yourself. Is that a stencil? You get into talking about the nuts and bolts of it. So that's kind of the way I find my way in. But on a more conventional level, what I do is contact women's groups, contact people who do a lot of networking. I'm talking to an agent right now. I don't really know if I'm ready for all of that yet, but she's given me a lot of ideas and connections. And the more I tell people about what it is I want to do, that body painting is just the vehicle, but overall what I want to do is change people's perceptions about themselves or help them be more accepting of themselves and then of others. People are like, wow, let me connect you too. Here, talk to this one. Hey, you know what? I know somebody who's a model right now and needs to add this to her book. You'll be able to meet this person, that person. So so far it's been a kind of free-flowing type of connection, but it's working out.
So lots of networking.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, so one of the things we talk about is creating these, first of all, looking at within your inner circle, right, of people that you already know that might be able to, spread the word and make introductions to key people that could help you.
Right.
But also to identify groups and organizations of women who already have a huge following of women that would be interested in what you're doing, your target market. Can you talk a little bit about your upcoming webinar, or can you talk about that?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's cool. It's on the 12th, and it's with a woman. Her name is Melinda Ewell, and she is the originator, owner, operator, creator of the Womb Sauna, WOMB sauna. It's a form of, I guess, it's like a Chinese hip bath or something like that. But basically what she focuses in on is women's reproductive health in a holistic way, a homeopathic way. And she happened to see one of my belly paintings through another friend on Facebook who we run parties with every couple of months. And she said, geez, I'd really like you to work with me on a webinar. And tell me more about your body paint. So the more I spoke to her about what my goal was, changing people's perceptions, helping people to be more accepting of their current situations, relieving stress, seeing something beautiful that's on them, and then as a result feeling more, I guess, more beautiful themselves. She said that would fall right in. So we're doing a webinar on the 12th of December at 8 p.m. You can look on Facebook, and it's an event. I think I can post it on my Besitos page on Facebook. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We're doing some visualization exercises. We're doing some word association exercises. We're also talking about body painting through the ages, like tribal art, and why people painted their bodies, what different colors mean, and also like about using color to help yourself feel better. Like, like you wear a favorite blue shirt, or, like this is my favorite scarf right now. I love it. It's my lucky scarf. It's got beautiful colors in it. And so I wear it, it makes me feel good. So we talk a lot about those things. And eventually in January, I hope to be doing a February, well, maybe probably the first quarter of next year, working on a 4-hour workshop where we really go in depth about how we feel about ourselves, why we feel the way we feel about ourselves, and then use the body painting as an accent to it. and I'm hoping to either paint a few people prior to the workshop, have a couple of pregnant ladies there to paint, um, and also to set up work afterwards.
I
Hmm.
love that because it's tying into so many things that you're personally interested in. And that's something you and I work together on, to really kind of focus in on what's really important to you, to really kind of
Yeah,
drive this thing forward and create the momentum and create like a movement within the women that are going to be attracted to what you're doing. Are the webinars going to be used as a feeder for the workshops? After that, what's the end game for you?
hmm.
I know that you were talking about a personal project that you're, because I mean, you're still developing a lot of your
Oh
own
yeah.
works right now. So I mean, you're still in that developing process. But what
Hmm.
else? What's the end game?
Yeah. The end game is to take the imagery from the body paintings that I'm going to be doing on all different types of women. Um, Taking them through that 6 question intake that I normally do before I do a body painting, that asks them questions about their body perception, favorite colors, different things in nature that they might like or enjoy, so I can get an idea of how I'm going to paint them. Um, because they're not like a blank canvas, like a piece of paper that doesn't talk back to you. Um, it's great to get their input on what they would find enjoyable, what imagery they would love to see on themselves. Um, I ask them these 6 questions. Um, I get the information. We talk about the session, what the session is going to be like, and then they're going to be painted. During the painting session, I obtain permission from them to do some recording of our conversations while we're doing this. One of the questions I ask them is, whatever you know now about yourself and the acceptance of yourself now, what advice would you give your 11-year-old self or your 10-year-old self? And so we film that, or videotape, I'm sorry, record it. Then we have the photographer take pictures. The plan is to get these pictures blown up really large and have a gallery show. I'm toying with the idea of taking the pictures of the people, of the subjects, of the women, and actually painting them myself. So making like these big, huge paintings. Um, and that's where kind of like my fashion illustration comes back into play, and having a gallery show. The name of this project is All My Love, Less Than Perfect. So that way, it's kind of like we're giving all our love. Um, we don't know how to give all our love in acceptance of ourselves. We judge ourselves, we make ourselves unhappy, and in turn, everybody else is unhappy around us. I think my point is we have to accept that we're less than perfect and we can still love ourselves. So that's it.
That's a great message.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like that. I think that'd make a nice book too, to be honest with you. If you wanted to get pictures in a book like that, that'd be really neat. I'd love to see something like that.
You're the third person that's told me that. And
Really?
actually, somebody said that I need to write the story about all of this, because it comes from a personal story of mine when, I guess, the birth of my first child, my daughter. She's what, 25? And I went from like being a size 4'5" to being like a size 14, and I was that size for the longest time. And I'm like 5'1", so it was a toll on my body, but it was also a toll on my mind, my
Hmm.
emotions. And people aren't so nice. You hear stories about people saying, "Hey, when are you going to have that baby?" And you're holding the baby carrier there with the baby in it, and they're like, "When are you going to have that baby?" And you're like, "This is the baby. Don't ask me that question." So, I mean,
Oh no.
yeah, all women go through these body issues and stuff. And for some women, it it goes away. They find a way to get past it. And for other women, they don't ever get past it. Weighing 50, 60, I gained like 40, 50, 60 pounds with each child. Okay. Some women never get rid of it. They never recover from it. They're great moms and they learn how to function and they do everything for everybody else. But at some point, they don't like themselves. So how can you have a family and show love to your family when you're standing in the mirror saying, I hate my breasts. I hate my belly. Oh, my butt is big. Oh, my thighs are disgusting. Oh, God, I'm gross, I'm gross, I'm gross. How can you live that way? So if telling this story through imagery, if speaking to you and telling you my story, and there's countless other more horrific stories than just gaining baby weight. You know, there's women who've had victims of domestic abuse. There's women who, you know, are drug addicts. There's all kinds of women who've gone through so many things. And if we can find a way through our art to raise awareness, raise consciousness about what people don't have and what they could gain as a result of our interference as artists, then that's what we need to do. One thing I will add is this: all this sounds like really, really serious, and sounds very heavy. And it is, and it could be, and it could really drag the session down to where we're painting and dabbing our eyes and crying at the same time, and, you know, having hug fest and singing Kumbaya.
That's how I paint.
Yeah, hey, come on.
When he's not asking me how if his butt's too big.
I know.
Yeah.
And Bob,
I have poor body.
That problem. I'll be sending Spanx.
If only if you paint them first.
Okay. All right. Wait a minute. Where's my brush?
Where are we going with this? you got me in Spanx.
Yeah, this is the one you edit out. But during the sessions, most of the people who I paint or who knows me knows I'm a huge house music fan. And so a lot of the sessions are filled with lots of loud music. We're having a great time. We've got a little food, you know, the photographer's there. We lighten things up. We try to make it so that outside of getting or being prompted to have this aha moment, you walk away going, man, that was kind of fun. Can I come back and party with you again? You know, can we, you know, hook up? We run parties, a group of people, and I run parties. They're called Santo parties. We have them, every couple of months, either in Norfolk, and I'm in Virginia, DC, and I think they may have plans to have one someplace else, maybe Boston if we're lucky. That's where I'm from. I use that kind of as the backdrop to paint people at parties, which is what John Vargas does. He goes to nightclubs and will work for 3 hours and just paint people with fluorescent paint. It's a lot of fun, and it's a great way to kind of get back out there. It's just a way to kind of lighten things up. What I'm trying to do is heavy stuff. So I have to find a way to de-stress, and I also have to find a way to help my clients feel as if it's painless, you know?
You know, and what I like about that is that you're talking about creating an experience for people. So it's not just about the art. You know, and, we've talked about, like, if you're an illustrator, the experience you're creating for a client, or if you're doing advertising illustration, is the pleasure of working with you, you know, making the experience pleasurable. So the experience is really what people are paying for.
I do want to say a couple of things about your coaching. I'm allowed to say that, right?
I guess.
Okay.
Come on.
Only if it's good.
Don't say anything bad.
Only if it's good.
Just, Carlos, be quiet now. Go ahead. Let's hear it. I want to hear the good stuff about Carlos's coaching.
It is really good stuff. I don't know. I think I ran across your ad on the side of I don't know if it was on Facebook. I'm not sure where exactly I saw the ad, but I was sitting at work one day and it was a really hard day. And I was just feeling like, you know what? Something's got to change. I'm doing the same thing and expecting different results and truly going insane. So I saw your little ad, and I think I sent you, I did the inquiry or something like that. I sent the note or did your call to action, like you call it. And you sent me back information about being coached. And when we had our like little introductory session, you asked me what I wanted. And when you're a mom and you're a professional person and you're trying to juggle all these hats as well as satisfy your heart's desire to really do art full time, no one really asks you that. No one really cares enough to ask you that. It's you seem to be doing fine, so we're cool. When you asked me that question, it's like I finally came clean. I was like, look, I don't know what I'm doing. I want to do art in the worst way. And I remember you and Bob critiqued my website because I had a graphic design website up that had illustration, beads, the kitchen sink. It had everything on it. You know, I was all.
I do remember looking at your website. Yeah, we did talk
Hey,
about
guess what?
that.
It's still up, but shh, don't tell anybody. I have plans for it. I have plans for it. But I think, Carlos, I know that had I not met you, I would probably still be sitting here watching the months tick by, wondering, okay, what am I going to do that's going to be different this year that's going to change things? And I think the one thing that you kind of instilled in me is to just move. Just do something. No matter how small it is. Do something for your business. Do something for your art. Do something for your spirit even. I just really appreciate what you've done for me. You caused me to do the work that I knew that I had inside that I couldn't get out. And I'm still a little afraid, but the worst thing that can happen to me is to be back where I was before I started being coached by you. I think that's the very worst thing. Like, you know, you say, what's your worst nightmare? To be back in that place where I just felt like, man, I went to school. My mom paid all this money for me to go to school. I loaded buses to go to school. That's a whole nother story. I did everything to go to school. And here I am. I'm working in an industry that is great. It feeds my family. It pays the bills and it's helping me put my daughter through college. But it's not really my heart's desire. It's good work and I'm great at it, but I'm not passionate about it. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I mean, it means a lot, coming from you. And, since you opened this door, let me ask you a couple of questions. I know that, a lot of the questions that we talked about in the coaching sessions and stuff aren't easy. They're kind of hard. I mean, they're not like complicated questions, obviously. They're just questions that people tend to not want to think about because they have to dig
they're hard
deep.
questions.
Yeah, they're
Right.
okay. They're hard questions.
I know what you're talking about. They're the kind of questions that you like to avoid so that you don't really have to face some of the issues that you better start facing.
Yep.
Yeah, and I must say that V is one of these rare individuals. Because I'll tell you the truth. Most of the people that I even have the free sessions with are people that complain about their situation, but aren't. You could just tell they're just not fed up or tired enough, or in pain enough to really make that change yet. They're still making excuses, whatever those excuses might be, and that's all they are excuses. So, one of the things about V is that, she was ready to take that leap. She was ready to be challenged. She was ready to start answering those hard questions because she was fed up with what, her life was like. So, for people that might be in the same boat, that are kind of stuck, things are going the same way, nothing's changing month after month, year after year. They think they're doing the right things, but they're not. what are some of the things that you've discovered that they need to look at or maybe come to grips with?
I'll say that I think the one thing that I realized was that as soon as I stopped thinking about the money aspect of my artwork and started envisioning what my perfect world would be if I would be doing art all the time, that's when things kind of loosened up for me. I had a very rigid idea of how I would do artwork. I was ready, that day I talked to you, I was ready to quit my job. And you told me not to, thank God. Okay. I wanted to quit my job and I wanted to just do artwork. Like I was some bohemian artist that could afford to do it. The reality is that I wasn't able to do that right away. So I think what I would tell other people is that if you're transitioning, then make a plan to transition. How long is it going to take you? What will it take for you to let the 9-to-5 go and go into being a full-time artist? Also, drop your expectations about how quickly it's going to happen. People who are overnight sensations generally get discovered over the course of 10 years of working in whatever business. You know, you hear about these movie stars that were discovered, you know, but they've been doing plays since Hector was a puppy dog. And that's an old term, and that's dating myself, but okay.
I'm going to have to Google that one, Bob.
Yeah.
He knows what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, sure.
So Hector the dog. What?
I don't know what she's talking about, but I think she just called you old. I don't know.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm the youngest one in the room here.
You are. Okay. I think I would also tell them to do the first thing that Carlos told me to do, is make a schedule. Make a schedule. Plan out your time. You might have talent, inherent talent to be an artist, to be creative, to do all this stuff, but a schedule and how to manage it all doesn't magically appear out of the air just because you want it to. And then I would also tell them that they have to be willing, and this sounds really corny, but they have to be willing to step out on faith and say, what's the worst thing that can happen to me if I step out and I explore different opportunities as an artist? What's the worst thing that can happen? Somebody says no to you. Okay, that doesn't mean it's no to your artwork. It means they need to know more about what it is that you do and why you do what you do. And then have a big moment that really you don't care if anybody likes you or not. This isn't a popularity contest. What it is a way to share what it is that you've been gifted with your audience. What's the best way to do it? So I know I said a lot of things, so make sure you cherry pick a whole lot of stuff out of there. But maybe what they need to do is to find a good coach, an accountability partner. You know,
if only there was a good coach around here somewhere. I wonder who that could be.
Is that?
Yeah, that could be.
Okay, well, that'll do it for another. No.
That's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
You know, you've shared a lot about your own personal growth through this process, which is really what I wanted to share with the people listening. There was a story you mentioned the other day about the pricing on a recent project. And I just want to drive this home because when you mentioned it, I was like, man, you know, if only more people could hear you say that, because, you know, a lot of artists look at me like I'm crazy every time I tell them to increase their rates. And go ahead and tell your story, please.
Okay. All right. Well, I think when you first told me that, charge 3 times what you normally charge. I had a yellow legal pad. I'll show you. This is my yellow legal pad that I keep beside me. especially when I'm talking to you, because I want to make sure I'm writing stuff down so I don't forget it. I put on that 3 times my normal rate, and then I put yeah, right beside it. But during that time, I was in the midst of doing a quote unquote animation job for somebody. It was one of these situations I've gotten myself into through a referral, and I guess my ego says, yeah, you can do this, just go on ahead and take it on. Well, the job went on forever while I tried to learn how to do what the guy needed me to do. Great person, real easygoing, very laid back, so I had the luxury of learning. But I started that project over probably about 4 or 5 times during the time I was working for him, because he didn't set a deadline. He just kind of just eased me through it, and I wasn't trying to get done with it any quicker. I got probably $1.25 an hour over the course of, I don't know how many months I worked on it. So we finally got the job done. He was very happy with it. I was relieved that the job was over because it was painful. I learned that I don't know everything. And number 2, if I don't know everything, then I need to find somebody else who knows more than I know and give them the job, okay? Because I just stressed out completely. Okay, so of course the thing that you don't want to have happen again happens to you. The guy calls me up and he's like, hey, I got another project for you. And I went like this. Okay, I was like, oh my God, no, don't come back, right? But through the coaching, and it's a funny story, through the coaching, I said to him, hey, this time I really want to set some rules here, some guidelines here, so we can get through this project. And the first job, he wouldn't sign a contract. This time, I got him to consider a contract. I told him what I was going to put in it, typed it up, I sent it off to him, and it had deadlines. By this date, we'll do this. By this date, we'll do this. If you give me this, I can get this done by this time. And then I put 3 times my normal rate, and I sent it off to him. At which point I began to eat uncontrollably because I'm a stress eater, right? It was like, oh my, geez, what am I gonna do? So I'm sitting down telling my husband this, and he's like, you fool, what did you charge him 3 times your normal rate? That's why he came to you, because you do good work and you're not that expensive. And when he makes it big, he'll take you along with him. And something just bells went off in my head, and I was like, you know what? This is what Carlos is talking about. Do I want the same kind of clients that cause me to stress eat and freak out and be all angsty about my work? Or do I want people who I feel at ease with and I can work through the job and produce my best, you know? And until I'm ready to value me by charging 3 times my rate, no one else is going to value me. I'll still be the best bargain price keynote pseudo animation person there is around, right? After that conversation I had with my husband, 20 minutes later, the guy sent me an email and he said, I've signed the contract. I'm mailing it back to you. When do you want to start? And let's go. He says, you know, money's not an issue. My skill set, his skill set was an issue. He couldn't do what I could do for him that he wanted. So I did like the Snoopy dance, you know. I finished reading the email. I showed my husband. My husband stood there with his mouth open like, what? You kidding me? I'm like, yeah, here we go, you know, because it's on now. It's on. I finally figured out the type of client that I wanted is somebody who's going to value my work and understand what I'm bringing to the table, whether it be body painting or designing a business card. Here's what I bring to the table. If it's worth it for you, you'll pay for it. If it's not, you can go find somebody else. Bye. I don't have to take every art job that comes my way. That's the biggest thing. The the biggest aha is I don't have to take everything that's thrown to me. I'm not desperate. I'm not desperate. Shh, I'm not desperate. Okay? So it's great.
You know,
that's a good message. And,
I have goosebumps right now, Bob. Because really, I mean, no, really, this is what Drawn by Success for me is all about.
Yeah.
You know, because the other side of the coin is that, you know, you have people that call or email for advice, and you give them advice and strategies that you know work because they've worked for hundreds of other people, and they lack the faith to move forward and implement, you know, your suggestions, and you know that they're going to be continue to spin their wheels.
I understand that.
And but you know, stories like this with V, every time I see somebody like really that gets it, and have that kind of experience, it to me really, I mean, it gives me goosebumps because it's someone who's, you know, whose life is going to change. You know?
Right. And so now suddenly you get that job, and you get the one that you want rather than the one that you settled for. And the problem with taking those jobs that you settle for, or the ones that are maybe low paying or don't respect you as an artist, is now suddenly your time is taken with those jobs, and when the big one comes along, you may not even have time for it. You know, so I think that's a really strong message.
Energy. You know, you're so deflated from spending all this energy because artists are perfectionists. We know the difference between schlock and good stuff. We do. If you're worth your salt, you know the difference. And if somebody's paying you $1.25 an hour versus $50, $60, $175 an hour, okay, you're still going to produce top-notch work. So I'd rather produce my top-notch work for people who are going to support the value.
And it comes down to respect, too, people who respect your work.
Yep.
And, you know, and the value thing, I mean, we're going to wrap this up because we're approaching probably about an hour now, so I don't want to keep you too long. It's late. But, you know... Time
up. Start looking like a basset.
You know, the value thing comes from really understanding what you bring to the table. And I think, you know, V's done a really good job of, you know, not just understanding her creative value, but also interweaving into her business all of the things that she feels are important to her, right? So within that, all those personal interests, all those personal experiences that she's gathered through the years, when she brings all that and weaves it in with her art and with her vision, you know, you end up with something like what she's developing, which is still, you know, still evolving. I mean, I can't imagine what her business is going to look like a year from now, because she's got so much enthusiasm, and, you know, she's got so much of herself wrapped up into it, and that's what people feel, and that's what people are paying for, you know.
Yeah, the experience.
Yeah. So, V, congratulations. And I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your story about your business and your experience, you know, growing through the last year. Because I think you're doing some incredible work, and I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing next year. So,
well, stay tuned.
All right. So where can people find you if they want to learn more about you? Give me your Facebook, Twitter, you know, everything.
Let's see. I have a website. It's www.besitosbodypainting.com. I am on Facebook as well under the same name. I am on Twitter under Besitos BP, I think it is, or Besitos Body Painting. You'll find it. And I think was I on Tumblr? No, I'm not on Tumblr, not anymore.
You have a YouTube channel?
Actually, I do. It has some work stuff on it because I do a lot of like little promo videos for the training programs that we're using. But it's under Creativity, and you spell that like creative, and then let's see, CREATIVEEGEE. So Creativity. Get it?
Got it.
Got it.
We'll put links to all these in the show notes.
You know, something else I want to say is that anybody who's thinking about being coached by you should also understand that they bring all their experiences to you. So just because I want to do an about face and become an artist doesn't mean that I need to discount the experiences that I've had in other jobs. I've been able to integrate my training certification, my coaching certification, my experience as an artist, my experience as a mother and a wife and a professional woman to my art. If you think about it in those broad strokes, I think it'll be a little bit easier. You're already 50% ahead of where you were before you made the decision to be coached. So keep moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving, Mark.
Excellent. You got any closing questions for V, Bob?
I do. I just say only the coolest artists come from New England School of Art and Design. It's really great. I finally met another person who went there. Very, very cool. I'm very excited about that. And thanks for coming on. It was great. It was really inspirational.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for asking me.
All right, V. Well, thanks for being on. I'll speak to you soon. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this session of Drawn by Success with Velicia Waymer. And we hope you got a lot out of it. Leave some comments in the comments section. If you got any questions for Velicia, feel free to contact her, her Facebook, through Facebook or through Drawn by Success on the, if you follow us there, which you should be following us on the fan page if you're not already. But yeah, feel free to drop her a note and let her know, what you got out of this conversation. So anyway, we'll see you guys next time. That's it. That's a wrap. Bob,
okay,
see you later,
everybody.
buddy.
Yeah, see ya.
Hey, if you enjoyed this interview, visit drawnbysuccess.com to become a subscriber, and as a bonus, you'll get access to our How to Make $100,000 per Year as an Artist CD. And don't forget to tell your friends.